my fellow readers, this is I, Dark Symphony 777, with another fan fiction review. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts on the story and any future fan fictions you want me to read or review. And finally, this is my opinion. My opinion is not indicative of everyone in the world, so please respect that. So, the story I am doing a review of is called Be Careful, Making Wishes in the Dark by J Wings. It is, of all things, an Invader Zim Gravity Falls crossover. I've never been a big fan of Invader Zim. I never actually wondered why people got into it. It was one of those things that is like, why is it like, why is people say it's good? I like Gravity Falls. I just didn't understand why people liked Invader Zim. I saw like, I think like all the episodes in its first run, and I think some episodes in the second run, and I think that was it. My favorite episode of that show was the episode where Dib and Zim were on the planet and they were like racing and driving them all along. That was pretty cool. I don't know, it's just I always thought Invader Zim was just overrated, but that's beside the point. So the story, let's get into it. So the plot has Dib basically want to expose him like he always does. And he basically grabs a pamphlet and he summons, and of all people, Bill Cipher! Like, it's Big Bill, it's Illuminati Bill. I'm you know who Bill is. Like, everyone who's even heard of Gravity Falls knows who Bill Cipher is. He was like, I don't know, when people think of Gravity Falls, they either think of Bill Cipher or they think of Pinecest, I think. Anyway, so Dib summons Bill to mess with Zim to get him to be, get out to the skies, and Bill does this whole stickle. So like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, but not really. And so it starts this whole gigantic snowball effect where Dib falls for Bill's tricks like people always do. And it leads to Dib having to try and get back his body because Bill possesses it, and Bill's trying to be Bill and just, I know everything. and basically just mess everything up. So, while the plot is simple, it kind of fits the story, what it's trying to go with, because this is one of those stories where I said in another video, where it's one of those it's a story where it's supposed to behave a lot like the actual show. So it's kind of reading like you're actually watching an episode of Invader Zim. Like, okay, fine. I may not be a big fan of Invader Zim, but props to people who do. Character-wise, I mean, again, this is more due to the fact that I don't know that much about Invader Zim. I know about Gravity Falls, but not Invader Zim, so I don't know the development of like characters like Zim and Dib and Gazar. So there's really only 4 characters, those 3 plus Bill. Bill is Bill, like you can't go wrong with Bill. He's basically just a conniving con man who just wants to, who's trying to get all his ducks in a row, trying to make sure that nothing goes wrong for when he starts Weird Mageddon. This is supposed to take place, I think, after Bill meets the Pine siblings. So I don't know when this story takes place. So I'm just assuming between season 1 and season 2, just guessing. Bill, like I said, the story has Bill. He plays the con game. He does what Bill does best. He uses Dib's paranoia to get Zim to do something for him, burn up all these stuff, take over his body, go on a joyride. I do like when Bill is possessing Dib, like he's kind of goofy in that sort of way, but still know it's still Bill Cipher, so on a dime he can switch into like overly threatening, because that's kind of the appeal of Bill Cipher. That's why a lot of people really liked him, because he can switch from these overly goofy guy to an incredibly dangerous person like a blink of an eye, and actually made it believable. That's why I like Bill Cipher, because he was able to pull that. They were able to pull off something that's not exactly easy to do and pull it off with aplomb. Zim, of course, it's Zim. He's talking about the almighty tallest, and stuff like that. And he's paranoid. He's scared. Like I said, I was a big fan of Zim, so it's like I don't really like Zim's character simply because I just don't like his character. I just don't like his character. It is in character for him to behave the way he does. So it works in the context of the story. I just don't like Zim in general. Dib is just like him. Dib is Dib. Like, he's fine. Like I said, when it comes to character development in these types of stories, you're not really expecting a lot of character development because it's supposed to behave like an episode. So character development is not really going to be a big deal. It's more only just like point A, point B. There you have your entertainment. Go read something else. Go watch something else. Go watch another episode. That sort of deal. So it kind of works so kind of low levels of character development works in this kind of situation. Gaz is an interesting one because it kind of plays into my favorite part. I'll talk about that more later. Pace-wise, like I said, it's a little fast, but in the context of it reading like an episode of Invader Zim, it actually works. So I have no problem with that. Grammar-wise, nothing really wrong. I don't know how to if the spelling for Erkin is right or not. Like, that's fine. And that's fast. What would I recommend the story? I know this is a fast review but there's not really there's not really a significant lot that happens with the story that's worth talking about because it's kind of a by the number story that's supposed to like set up a bigger thing because the story actually ends with Dib getting a call from Dipper. And it kind of sets off a sequel where Dib might go to Gravity Falls and stuff like that. And I thought that was a nice sequel hook. Like there's not a lot to really attach yourself to because again, but like when it comes to these types of stories where they're supposed to read like actual episodes, there's not really a lot to digest. There's not really a lot to connect with. You're just supposed to treat it like an actual episode. Like you read it, you go through. Did you like the episode? Did you like the episode or not? Yes, then move on. No, you move on. So it's this is just a quick review because there's not really a lot of substance. I do appreciate it for what it is because there's not really any flaws. It's just it's literally just a building block. That's what I think the story is best summarized at. It's literally just a building block to go in any direction the author wants to go. And I think that's the best strength of the story is that where is the anticipation of what the author is going to do next, because there is one thing that is kind of unique with the whole Dib going to the organization. Dib goes to the organization and stuff like that, and Bill tries to burn it down. So there's so many different directions the author can take it, but on its own, I do think it's fine enough that I would recommend it. But I think that's also its simplicity, also its biggest strength, because there's so much you can do with just the core idea. Bill, Dib summons Bill. Bill does Bill's things. Possesses Dib's body, just starts destroying shit, destroys his body. Like, Dib nearly actually dies in the story because Bill is like, I don't give a fuck about this body. Like when Dib walking around with Bill, and Bill's like, aren't you gonna break my body? And he goes, no, the human body is surprisingly durable. And he literally just smashes his hand, Dib's hand into a wall, and actually breaks some fingers. And he's like, yeah. So it's a supernatural humor. Like it fits both genres. Like it fits everything. Like there's nothing contextually wrong with it. There's nothing to really attach and to really, really like and love with the characters or the plot and everything, because this is just basically one of those stories that's supposed to set up something bigger in the future. And that's fine for what it is, which is why I recommend it, because this is more just anticipation for it's more of a feeling of what's next rather than this story is good on its own merits. This story's merits would be good based on the follow-up. Like, there are stories that are average, but only become good once we see the follow-up and we see how much the first half is integrated in the second half. This is that kind of story where this story is not going to be good or great on its own. It's going to be good or great depending on how it's followed up as, and that's basically for what it is. Like, yeah, it's a decent story. Favorite part: Gas punching Bill. I'm sorry. There's this. It's a small thing. It's literally. I think the moment's only like 2-3 sentences long. Like, it's literally the climax of the story. Zim and Gaz and Dib, who's a ghost, are about to fight Bill. Like, they can't really stop him, and so Gaz, kind of starts doing illusions and kind of confuses Bill for a little bit, and then she just walks up and just socks him in the face. Is it simple? Yes, it's literally like 3 sentences. Like, it's not an enormous moment. It's just a punch. But consider the fact it's Gaz, and the only character from Zim that I actually liked was Gaz, because I just liked her character so much. And that's not just because she's a goth and I have a thing for goths, but I just really liked her character. And at least it had some weight saying, Gaz is willing to protect her brother. So it's simple. It's fine. What would I change about the story? I wouldn't change anything, honestly. Honestly, all the things I would suggest would be more just follow-ups. Like, what would I do to continue the story rather than what would I do to add on to the story? That's just like with what I recommend it. It's just, this is a story that we need a follow-up to kind of get the full picture. That's honestly what I think. And the whole ending is supposed to be a sequel hook, so it makes sense. Like, if I come back to it and do a sequel, then it's fine. But I do think like there's some. This is where I kind of was trying to figure out what to do, because anything I would think of would be just what would make sense for a sequel. Like, I can't change the story because there's nothing really needs to be changed. There's nothing that needs to be added. There's nothing that needs to be taken off. It's just as it is. It's fine. There's just nothing to really change, and the stuff I'd add would just be speculation on what would the sequel be like, rather than fixing the story. Like, if I had to take a guess over what the sequel might be, I think it would obviously be Dib going to Gravity Falls. He would bring Gaz, and Zim would follow along because he wants revenge on Bill. So it's like, and a large part of the mystery would be about what's going on with Gaz, like, because it's hinted in the story that Gaz has some sort of supernatural powers to her. I don't know if that's actually in the show, because I didn't see all the episodes of Zim, so I only saw like a fair bit. Like I said, the second run of the show had more episodes than the first. I saw all the first ones, but I only saw like 2 or 3 of the second runs, so I don't know. Dib, Gaz, and Zim following. They would go to Gravity Falls. They were trying to find out about Bill and stuff like that. And Bill tries to, I think, probably be like an adaptation of Weirdmageddon. That's what I would guess, because there's just so much because it's speculation. Like, it'd be an extended version of Weirdmageddon. Like, Bill's smarter, he knows that Zim and Dib and Gaz there, he's prepared for them, so he's making even more precautions and stuff like that. And it'd just be like an extended version of Weirdmageddon. That's my guess. That is my legitimate guess, because I don't know. I think it would make more sense if I knew when the story took place in context with Gravity Falls. So hence why I'm suggesting Weirdmageddon, because I guess. And that's it. So that is Be Careful Making Wishes in the Dark. I did like the story. I just need to know. I just need to see the follow-up to get the full context of the story, to say whether or not it's truly good or bad or anything like that. As it stands on its own, it's good. Nothing needs to be changed. Nothing. It's an overall decent story. So this has been Dark Symphony 777, and cut. Wait there. Why is it not? Why is it not? Why is it? Is it not? Is it literally frozen?